Hey everybody, it's a balmy, 44 degrees out here, I think, something like that. Very cold for California, at least this part of California. But here I am back at Stanford Campus, driving through the area. Felt like walking around for a bit, stretch my legs. I was driving a bunch today, so I wanted to catch an area I haven't shot before. Obviously more activity during the day, a little more stuff to see. But it is photogenic at night. There's the Campanile on the left there, the bell tower. Famously had bars put in probably, I don't know, 30 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, whatever it was. Maybe even further back, because of students jumping out of there committing suicide from stress, from college life. So yes, there are some dark stories to be told at Stanford, and that's one of them. So that's I forgot what these buildings are for here in the front, but behind this collection of buildings, to the right of the Campanile, is the Stanford Church. And they have midnight mass for Christmas and a beautiful pipe organ. The only local pipe organ I can think of, there's one up in San Francisco at the Legion of Honor Art Museum, which is really cool. One of these days I'll shoot some stuff there. But really, really special. This is all part of the thing called the Oval. You can see this curve here to the road, and curves all the way around. See the lights are curving out to the back. And then there's a big field over here that people are always playing on, like a little park. There's some flowers and stuff in the middle, benches and stuff like that. And so this is all part of the Oval, which is like one of the big drop-off areas when you do like a drop-off for a performance, or a ride share, or a taxi cab, or maybe your friends and family pick you up, drop you off here. This is a common place because everyone knows about the Oval, right by the Campanile and the church and all that stuff. So it's kind of like the center of campus, closer to Palo Alto. The true center of campus is inaccessible by car, for the most part. It's a lot of small vehicles and bicycles and footpaths. But so this is one of the easiest ways to access Stanford is from the Oval. And you'll see there's past this curb up here at the tip of the Oval, there's a parallel road, or actually more of a tangential road, just tangent to the apex of the Oval. That's only service vehicles, bicycles, scooters, stuff like that. No cars can go down there, at least not from the public. They've got campus security here hanging out for some reason. That's a truck over here to the left. These wannabe cop guys. They're usually pretty nice, but they're hanging out here for some reason. So I thought I'd walk around here for a while. Last time I did, basically back through those trees, that direction is the Cantor Arts Museum, Cantor Center, I think it's called. And outside you have the Rodin Sculpture Garden. If you follow the road off of that, called Lomita, again, cars can't go through there. It's blocked at one point for public cars, non-service vehicles. Lomita comes back through over here behind these trees, between those buildings over there, and goes up to Santa Teresa Road, which is where the New Guinea Sculpture Garden is, that I showed you on another stream. Behind those buildings, that direction. If you continue up Lomita, where you can drive your car behind these buildings, up the hill, that's where you get to Stanford Karma, the Music and Technology Center that John Chowning is still Professor Emeritus, and I've done some live streaming from there for tours, public performances, things like that. So that kind of gives you a sense of the scale and location of everything. They got some construction guys coming through here. That's probably why the security guys are here. They're doing some construction, they're guarding it. Interesting. Anyway, I'm not sure if these are just administrative buildings or if they're actual like research buildings or what these are. I've never looked into it. But some of the original buildings on campus here, from what I can tell, from the late 1800s, around those parts. That's when the university was here before, as far as I understand, before the city of Palo Alto, because Palo Alto had its centennial celebration 1894 to 1994. I was working at that zoo museum back then, and we had a 1994 centennial exhibit in the buildings. I did some contributions to that. Sound design, sample soundscapes for like some of the, they had like a blacksmith shop, and I did some horse and buggies coming and going on loop tapes, and there was like a general store sounds, just, you know, foot traffic, all kinds of stuff. I made a whole audio collage on my Emacs 2. It was a lot of fun, actually. So that was for the centennial. And part of the soundscape I created on one side of the room, to be positionally accurate, was the bell tower, the Campanile, Stanford University, because it was already in existence in 1894, according to what everyone told me, and I believed them. So if they're wrong somehow, I'd go back and look. Then that exhibit had some problems, but I'm pretty sure the university was just before that, maybe a couple years before that. And so when Palo Alto was formed, Stanford was already in the background with the bell tolling. So anyway, so that's the other end of the oval that way, which is Palm Drive, which goes straight into University Avenue, downtown Palo Alto. Stanford is its own little town or city, whatever, separate from Palo Alto. And I think the border is El Camino Real, going right across that junction down at Palm Drive and University Avenue. I got some birds out here in the grass. Not sure what kind they are, actually. I see them moving around. Could be gulls. But it's kind of unusual for them to be active this time of night. Although oh, there they go. They start flying. Ooh. I know those squawks. These are black-crowned night herons hanging out here. That's interesting. They are nocturnal. Crepuscular and nocturnal. That squawky noise, that's why they're moving around out here. They're looking for treats. I didn't know they had black-crowned night herons there at night. That's really cool. Usually have killdeer, little shorebirds that go tee-tee-tee-tee-tee-tee-tee. But I don't see them here. But we got black-crowned night herons instead. That's pretty funny. Probably don't show up too well on the video, but I'm sure you heard the squawk. Gonna zoom in a little bit, maybe you can see them a tiny bit. Let's see. Yeah, there are a couple on the lawn there. Black-crowned night herons, very busy at night. And cars are still coming through. Looks like they're either picking up or dropping off folks. There's no other reason to come through this time of night, because it's usually dead. So here's the road on the other side that you can't drive in the public. So, bikes, foot traffic, and service vehicles only. So this is the entranceway to Stanford Church. And it looks like they're doing some kind of restoration here, which I was not aware of. Look at all those lights. Usually it's dark. And they have, there's like an entranceway, like a little archway thingy. And on the other side is the actual church peeking above. You can see it's not illuminated behind with a cross at the top there. That's the actual church. So they're doing some work to the structure in front of the church. And the church proper has the murals on it. So here's the hallways all around the courtyard here for the church. Nice long hallways, illuminated all night long for safety and for any other reason. But yeah, they're doing all kinds of cleanup construction here, looks like. Barriers all over the place. Restoration or something. And because the Rodin Sculpture Garden is not the only place where you can find Rodin stuff on campus, here's another collection of Rodin stuff right here. So this is called Memorial Court, according to the wall right there. It says Memorial Court. And you can see the pattern. Sidewalks have this kind of radiant pattern with diagonal lines. And then these little triangular flower beds. And again, more diverging patterns on there. So it's all one big artistic thing. So here's the Rodin stuff here. I should come back and scan some of these too for 3D printing. And I don't have my little light with me today. I forgot about these things being here. But it's called, oh, I see, the Burghers of Calais. So you saw the heads of the two of the Burghers of Calais and one of the guys standing there with like nothing on. This looks like one of them. He's still doing that similar pose with the hands out, but here's wearing clothing. And this is a much more grizzled, older dude with a big old beard there. Again, giant hands. I love Rodin's sense of scale. Huge hands, huge feet. It's like Andre the Giant. They have acromegaly. The heads are fairly normal, a little bit big, but the bodies are either emaciated or voluptuous or somewhere in between. And then they have these massive hands and feet and stuff. Very dramatic. This guy's doing some voguing here, looks like. Strike a pose. This guy's just kind of like, what? What do you want? Got his little arms out to the sides. This guy's mostly covered up, but he's nude, kind of, sort of. It's almost imitating a gun to his head. Clearly not, but you could edit this to look that way, of course. And then this guy's all slumped over here. Not happy at all. Look at that. Agony or grief or something. Head sunken, buried in hands. I don't know the story of the Burghers of Calais at all, so they're clearly very dramatic characters according to these sculptures and the ones over in the actual sculpture garden at the Arts Center. So yeah, I don't know. I have to look into them now. These are quite dramatic figures. Got 6 of them here all together. So there you go. More Rodin stuff. So yeah, it looks like they're doing restoration to the paint up here. You can see there's all kinds of relief carved into the stone here. But they also have lots of paint. There's like little mandala, flowery type things there. Looks like they're just restoring those or something. Not sure. But yeah, a whole scaffolding there to fix this up. So let's go through the side way. Normally you can go right through the middle, but that's closed. So let's go through the side. You can see the church. Pretty big structures though. So a lot of scale here. You feel pretty small walking through here. There's more scaffolding down there. And here's the church itself with a little palm. Nice little collections of palm trees, a couple different kinds of palm trees. You got some cycads here. These primitive, these primitive vascular plants that look like some sort of palm, but they're actually more primitive than palms. Closer to conifers, other gymnosperms. Got some other, looks like a coral tree there maybe. Other kinds of shrubby looking trees here. That looks like it's almost like a baobab or bottle tree or something. Not sure what that is. I never had a chance to really look at the plants in this place. And of course they don't label them. I don't see any signs here. Yeah, that looks like a baobab there. That swollen trunk going tapering off to the top. Yeah, either that or there's that one group of plants that has one of the trees called an elephant foot. These are yucca trees, or Dracaena is kind of in the yucca group. The more woody ones. There's some Dracaenas that are very wimpy and kind of thin and soft from the tropics. You have as houseplants sometimes, but there are also Dracaenas that look like this. So now this big old courtyard here. These little islands of plants and trees, shrubs and trees. Several islands of greenery, and all these places you can sit. So it's a great place to just hang out, people watch, enjoy the day. And here's the actual church with a glorious pipe organ inside. There's a big old stained glass on the top, big mural of some major biblical event. I'm pretty sure, I think it's a Catholic church, so you can see by the imagery. Lots of angels and saints and all kinds of things. And there's that gold leaf. You get the glare there from the lights, the gold leaf on the sides. This one's face on, so you're not seeing the gold shiny, but it is on all this bottom part. It's all gold leafy stuff. Got some angels here. It says love, faith, hope, and charity. And you got some people praying and gesticulating. More stained glass there. And there's a big old scene here. I'm not sure what's happening here, this image, but it's definitely not Sermon on the Mount because he's on steps. He's not on some kind of rustic mountaintop or dirt hill. So I'm not sure what this event is. But these guys are having a spirited discussion, looks like, in their robes. People are crawling, falling down. Who knows? Very dramatic. There you go. Memorial Church. Jane Lathrop Stanford, loving member husband Leland Stanford. So Leland Stanford is obviously the founder of Stanford University, and the Karma building is his original house as the president of the university. So there you go. That mosaic tiles. Some are gold leafy looking mosaic tiles, but yeah, it's definitely all little mosaic tiles for the whole thing. Very ornate all the way around. It's a lot of work to put this shit up. You got floral stuff happening here. Look at all the insane amount of relief through the entire structure here. All sides, very 3D. Here's the actual main doors, very big metal doors to get into the church. Got some little cherubs on the front. And it's really dark in there, so you're not gonna see shit, but there's a carpet in there. There's your carpet. There's a holy carpet for you guys who want to see carpet. And more doors to get into the actual church proper. Same thing, long hallways, arches galore. Everything's very big here. You gotta have that sense of awe to make you feel humble before you go into the church, of course. So you give generously. And they have some little greenery back here. There's the holy bike racks back here behind the church. This is the back part of the church. Nice curved walls there. Very, very impressive place, though. And again, amazing pipe organ. You got to sit through the rest of the junk during the Christmas presentation, but and the Eucharist and all that kind of stuff if you're into that. But you can just sit in the back of the room and just enjoy the pomp and circumstance and the pipe organ and some of the choral stuff, which is nice. And there's the bell tower again in the distance there. Very large, much bigger than the Berkeley one. It's more tall and thin. This one's really chunky. So yeah, lots of trees. Like I said, I'll have to come back. I didn't go to the Christmas one this year. You guys saw my kind of messed up stream in San Jose that night of Christmas Eve. I was down there doing some stuff, and I thought, I'll just stop in this one. By the time I get over here, the program's going to be over. And I just went in real quick. There was a classic Zoom glitch again with YouTube. I hate when the pinch zoom gets stuck. And from my side, it was zoomed out. But according to YouTube, it was still pinched in and totally over zoomed. And every time I moved, it was all unwatchable, basically, for the rest of the stream until I got back to my car and turned the camera off. So that's really annoying because I was trying to show the Christmas in the Park stuff, which is whimsical and funny. And probably a lot of you got seasick if you were watching because it was way too zoomed in and shaky. Even on a gimbal, it was just too hard to watch. But anyway, I got a little piece in the church and you could hear like a piano and some singing, but where's the fucking pipe organ? Apparently the one in San Jose, the Catholic Church in San Jose does not have a pipe organ, or they don't use it. I was bummed out about that. More greenery through the garden area here, all around the church. There's a side view of the burghers of Calais and the diverging patterns of sidewalks and lawn and triangular planting areas. Man, it's really cold out here. I put a couple layers on. I'm still feeling it. Even moving around, it's very cold. But it does feel good to walk around. I was sitting a bunch today driving. A little ornate, almost looks like a heart there in the middle. Very ornate. You would call these Corinthian style columns with the ornate capitals on them. I think that's janitorial people there yelling as they're carrying garbage bags out. It's very nice. Nice old-timey lighting here. There are some art sculptures, I believe, this direction, in this little lawn area. Let's walk over here real quick. I was here during the day once with my girlfriend and her. She was showing her brother around and somebody else. And I'd never walked over this area before, just back to the church. Here's McClatchy Hall, whatever that means. These tall doorways, tall narrow doors. Boy, they're having a good old time over there. Cackling away. Oh, look at that. There's like an upstairs seating area. I think this is a library. There's little like booths up there with tables upstairs. Little red booth chairs. Almost like a diner. It's funny. This is Wallenberg Hall or Wallenberg, depending who's saying it.